In A Working Man, Levon Cade, played by Jason Statham, left behind a decorated military career in the black ops to live a simple life working construction. But when his boss's daughter, who is like family to him, is taken by human traffickers, his search to bring her home uncovers a world of corruption far greater than he could ever have imagined. A Working Man is directed by David Ayer, who has directed films such as End of Watch and the previous Jason Statham thriller The Beekeeper. And David Ayer co-wrote the script with Sylvester Stallone, who also produced the film. And usually I don't mention who is writing and producing films, but the reason why it's important is because this film is very reminiscent of films that Sylvester Stallone used to make in the 80s. To be honest, I was kind of bored by this film. It doesn't really offer anything new to the like revenge thriller type film. Yeah, of course, it's very familiar, very reminiscent of films from the 80s. If you take away like the technology and the cars and the smartphones, this film could have taken place in the 80s. But for me, Jason Statham doesn't really have I do like him as an actor, but he doesn't have the screen presence or the acting ability to carry a film by himself. And in this film, he's basically the only star in this film. We have David Harbour. He plays one of Jason's military friends. He kind of sets up connections and has somewhere to hide when Jason gets into trouble, but he's barely in the film. He's only in the film for a few minutes. And there's also Michael Peña. He plays the father of the missing girl, but he's barely in the film. So it's basically left up to Jason Statham to carry the film on his own, and he doesn't really have the gravitas and screen presence to carry the film on his own. At the moment, we have actors like Denzel Washington with the Equalizer films and Liam Neeson with all his like revenge thrillers at the moment. They have the acting ability and the screen presence to carry a film by themselves, even if there's no other stars in the film. And even back in the 80s, like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, they could carry films on their own, because even though they're not the best actors in the world, they have that screen presence. And I just don't think Jason Statham, as much as I like him, he just doesn't have it. And this film just has too many characters, too many bad guys. And as the film goes on, we get introduced to more and more and more side characters. And as the film goes on, it's like they ran out of Russian actors to hire, and as the film goes on, we see all these actors pretend to be Russian, and then their accents come and go, and it's quite comical how silly it gets. And throughout the film, Jason has to keep digging, trying to find the missing girl, and he has to slowly kill people over and over again. He has to slowly climb the ladder of this Russian trafficking drug group, and he keeps finding the higher and higher up bad guys. But the problem in this is there's too many of them. I just don't understand why the film just didn't focus on one bad guy, get one good actor who can like shoot the scenery, someone we can grab onto when Jason Statham's not on the screen. But unfortunately, the film just puts too many bad guys in the film, and all these bad guys get very little screen time, so they don't really get to create a character, and because we don't really fear them. There's no tension, because Jason Statham can basically kill a whole room of people with his military expertise. And even at the end of the film, when we find this kind of like Godfather Russian boss type character throughout the third act of the film, and then at the end of the film he wants to hunt down and kill Jason Statham, and then he makes a phone call to another boss. But like at the end of the film, we finally think, oh wow, this must be the last boss. And then finally he makes a phone call to another boss higher up in the film, and his boss tells him, oh no, just leave him alone. And that's the end of the film. And it's like, how many more levels up are there? And it just isn't enough of Jason Statham kicking ass in this film. There's quite at the end of the film, there's quite an extended action scene where, like the final showdown, where Jason Statham goes into this kind of like Russian game saloon type area to rescue the girl, and there's quite an extended action scene at the end. But throughout the film, there's just quick spatters of like 1 minute action scenes, and then in the second act of the film, Jason Statham kind of disappears for a lot of the second act of the film, and it focuses on too much of these Russian drug traffic criminals, and there's so many of them, and it's quite boring, that stretch of the film. I give A Working Man 1.5 stars out of 5. I can't even really recommend this film to Jason Statham fans who want to see him kick ass, because he doesn't really do a lot in this film. He basically spends most of the film just investigating the missing girl and getting involved in the drug and trafficking, and so he doesn't really get to kick ass until basically the end of the film. So you kind of have to sit through about an hour and a half of just boring Russian mobsters and all the leveling up. And yeah, I can't really recommend A Working Man even for die-hard Jason Statham and fans of these type of 80s thrillers. Thanks for watching. What did you think of A Working Man? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.